So when it comes to editing in Lightroom Mobile, I think it's important to have a process that you follow, a progression of editing for each photo. And the reason why that's important is because it allows you to stay organized. It allows you to accomplish everything you want to accomplish with your edit without leaving anything out or going out of order or anything like that. It's really good, and it helps you maintain your efficiency and just create better edits in general. So there's a process that I follow, and I think it's pretty effective. So the first thing you're going to do is import the photo. Like I said in the last section, importing is really important. So you're going to import your photos, keep them organized. Then you're going to go through and sort them. So like I did with the breakfast menu, I went through and I was sorting the different images, selecting the ones that I really liked, and kind of ignoring the ones that I didn't like. And then what you're going to do is you're going to prep the photo. And when you prep the photo, you're going to be doing things like cropping the photo, maybe removing blemishes, just some really simple kind of pre-edits just to make sure you're ready to get going and ready to start editing, doing the more major edits like exposure and color and things like that. So after you prep the photo, you're going to move on, you're going to edit exposure. So you're going to be adjusting the exposure, the lighting, the contrast, the highlights, the shadows, all of that. That's the next step. After you adjust the exposure, it's time to move on to the color and adjusting the color and really playing with the color and finding the colors that you really like and messing around with them there. One thing to note is when you are editing colors, it is going to affect your exposure as well. So you can kind of go back, adjust the exposure, go back, adjust the color, go back, adjust the exposure. So these two things you're going to be editing quite a bit. Exposure and color, those two things are relevant to each other in many ways. After you edit the color and you think your exposure is in a good place, you can move over to effects and details, or you can add things like vignetting, clarity, sharpening. If you want to add some noise grain, you can do things like that. So just kind of adding some extra effects to enhance the mood of the photo. After that, you're going to do some selective edits. So maybe adding gradient filters, burning and dodging, things like that. And in short, you're just going to be fine-tuning the photo before you post it. So making sure everything is perfect before you go on and post it. So now that we've gone through the editing progression, it's time to really dive into each one of these sections and talk about them in depth. And in this next part of the course, I'm going to be diving into each one, talking about all the different sliders, what they mean, what they do, how they affect your photo, how they affect your edit, how they affect each other. So we're going to get really in detail here. And I'm going to take it one step at a time. So we're starting off with importing, then we're going to move on to prepping your photo, exposure, color, etc., etc. So pay attention here. There's a lot of really great information here that you can pick up when it comes to editing photos. We're going to really dive into Lightroom Mobile and just get into it. So let's go do that now.